Think about work, you likely hear more people you know say they hate going to work or they dread their job. They're there because they got bills to pay, right? Well, it turns out almost 50% of Americans dread going to work, according to Yahoo Finance. Now, work-life balance is a huge reason for hating work. How do we revive our motivation, if we had any to begin with, and find purpose in work and earning our paychecks? Whitney Warren transforms workplaces, cultures through her work educating people on emotional intelligence. Okay, consultant specializing in emotional intelligence, communication, and leadership. So great to have you again today.
Thank you for having me back.
It's really fascinating what you do and how you guide people through teamwork and understanding their numbers on enneagram. So let's talk about motivation. Why is it so important? And teamwork, why is it so important?
Okay, well, teamwork, I think we can agree, if we work on teams, it is what we need in order to get to the end goal.
Right.
But so often when we go into work, we expect to be able to work easily with people. But let's think about it. Most of our colleagues were strangers the day before we started work. So if we want to get something done, we need to be able to trust them. We need to be able to communicate well. But if we don't know each other, how do we do that?
Exactly. And with Enneagram, it's so fascinating just how deep it goes into understanding your numbers and how your personality ticks, really like what stage you're at your self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
So when you go into these teams, you work with small businesses, you've done high corporate levels, so you've navigated a lot of stakes, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different pressures.
I have. It's been such a joy. I've gotten to see small businesses, large corporations, Fortune 500 leaders, and they're all facing the same
things.
Exact issue.
That blows my mind.
Yep. We're no different. Like, as a small business owner, I'm no different from the leader who's, leading thousands of people. And the question is, how do we motivate somebody if we ourselves don't know how we're truly intrinsically motivated, and then we don't understand how they might be motivated? Because a lot of our motivation happens under the surface.
Right.
And so you brought in the Enneagram. The Enneagram is a personality assessment that we use within our company to help people articulate what motivates us, what gives us purpose, why do we actually show up to work?
Do you find people lose why they're even motivated if you ask them, like, what gives you purpose? What do you like about your job? Have they kind of gotten to a point where they're glazed over and they need to kind of dig for that motivation?
Absolutely. I would say that a lot of times when I ask people what motivates you, why do you want to work, most people just stare and they're like, what do you mean?
Right.
For money.
Yeah.
But money is an extrinsic motivator. It happens externally, it happens outside of us. But money and purpose, for most of us, that's not enough.
Right.
If your salary evaporated the next day, you'd go find another job. Unless, you're a small business owner, which I've met a lot of small business owners who have stayed in the game months with maybe not getting paid. So that they're motivated internally by something. They see the end goal, they have their purpose. So the bringing it together is, how can we find our teammates what gives them purpose at work?
And it's not just about accolades or whatnot, but it's also, it's deeper. It's like, what value do I bring to what we're doing? Or am I just sitting at my desk brain dead?
Brain dead, not being heard, not being seen. And then, it makes it harder when you've already got that feeling and you come into conflict, or it might even not be conflict, just disagreement with a coworker. And you're like, I can't see their perspective and they can't see mine.
And then it becomes personal.
So the Enneagram gives us a way to understand why the other person's reactions to us isn't personal.
That was so eye-opening when I took this a while ago through you, and I learned so much about myself. And I think the thing that was super helpful in growing and starting that self-awareness journey is understanding the things that you are doing. And like, why do you get triggered? Why are you adding to the problems when they arise? So I was like, whoa, okay, there is some work to do here, but you don't know what you don't know. You can't, I'm walking around with blind spots, just adds to the problem.
And we all are.
Right.
But you brought in the key, which is self-awareness. Why am I doing what I do?
Right.
So many personality assessments will tell us how we work. The Enneagram tells us why we work. And when I know that, I can say, okay, I'm here for this purpose. This person might be here for another purpose. But when we've got that self-awareness, we can say, oh, my reaction in this moment might actually be about me.
Exactly.
It's probably not about them.
Right. And that's also the aha moment when someone's snapping at you, and just have grace.
Yeah.
There's something going on with them.
Grace.
Yeah.
When we have self-awareness, we are able to let other people have their experience and their reaction without making it about us.
Internalizing it.
Which just doubles
Yes.
the consequences. You know, they're having something, we're having something. Let's not add to the issue.
Right.
Let's give us both some space, understanding, compassion, and ask the next. Communication, which requires trust.
Oh. All right, this is like a trust fall right here. Where can people find you? And you also have an event coming up in April?
Yes, we have our second annual Enneagram for Evolving Leaders Conference. So if you are piqued, that's going to be at the Des Moines Botanical Gardens, April 16th and 17th. But if you want to learn more a little bit about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, we do have a free webinar coming up in middle February, and you can find us at www.evokeeq.com. All of that information will be there.
So refreshing to have you. It is really like a balancer, right? It just gets you realigned.